Imran, are we calling this Balikuddembe Baliks? Hey, Imran, Mr. Secretary should be like there in case the power, whatever. They should be like on it in case the power chunks.
Yeah, it's so configured. So configured.
We are conversing. We are conversing.
See me touch here, then now into something. Eh?
Wait, you have to be specific. Specifically here.
Okay, if I touch it with my thumb like this.
Okay.
If I just touch it like this, then but if I do this and hold it, then you know it's something.
Okay.
Listen, so I introduce in the post, you'll be like moving on, then I introduce the post or verse question. When you ask questions, we look at them and we freeze for maybe 2 seconds. You understand?
I give you what?
If we ask questions, for example, let's see influence versus money. We look at them. You understand it? Let's look at the camera. Let's not go very out of range for the camera guy to complain.
Okay, so when you're also communicating that thing, you should like target when I'm looking that side. You may do it when I'm looking this side.
We also hear this. So you have to be very.
Wait, wouldn't that be very, very...
Like people see it.
Yeah, let's use that board
But
thing.
if I do this from this side, camera here.
Let's use the board thing.
And then not touching this lower part. Come on.
Okay. So either the board or that. So it's either the board or that. Now we are going to start from here. Wait, what are these two? Lily? Ezra.
Excuse me. So 2 votes have been cast.
What?
It's true. Yes. Okay. I think we have voted.
So you're going to say
2051. Yeah. See, it's reducing.
okay. So now you're going to tell the people that
Which post have they voted? First wait.
which post we go check.
It's like
Going to comment.
they have super voted here.
Check.
First wait.
Go and chat.
I've also voted here. Oh, niggas are voting.
People are voting in the ICT room.
Yeah, they're voting. Yeah, so obviously the only person there.
Ezra, are people voting in the ICT room?
Yeah, they're voting. According to this, they're voting. Hey, there.
If they are voting, they
Yeah, they're voting. Oh, yeah.
Wait, I think we should also vote first.
I don't have my code. Okay.
Wait, so where do I press when you want to go back? Because I'm going to be on this side. Wait, where do I go? So we are going to be here. And then when you want to go away, when you want to go to the
Candidates.
dash.
Candidates there.
Okay. Yes.
Hello, Uganda. I'm Kosozi Imran.
And I'm Anisha Neva.
And we are your commentators for the day on Balikuddembe Decides
2026-2027.
So briefly, I want to welcome you to this event, and I want to say that all these, the software and the introduction, everything you see there, the caption is down there. It's all powered by castyourvote.com. So any other school, any other organization, if you have such a similar event, you can tap them, you can call them. The contacts are down there below, and they'll also make you quite happy.
Now, today we are having our elections. The student fraternity is deciding who are going to be their leaders for 2026, 2027. Now, these candidates have gone through thorough screening. When I mean thorough, I'm saying thorough. Now, we have some major posts that went through second screening. Some of them are the head prefect, head boys, and very many others.
I would also like to inform you that last week on Friday, each candidate came out for what you call the general campaigns. And here the people showed their support, where some people had majority of the supporters and some people had little or no supporters. Because you know the game of politics, some people are to lose and some people are just born for leadership. So,
Imran, on our open air campaigns, we might have people that gave their candidates an electrifying vibe, but again, we cannot criticize. Maybe the other candidate has silent voters.
That's why they say that let the poll decide, not the words.
Exactly.
So moving on, we have our introduction. Like I told you, thanks to castyourvote.com, you should also try it out. We are now going to vote using eVoting. And here the best part is there's no vote rigging. I want to remind you that in Balikuddembe, we don't have nepotism, favoritism, or monopoly in our elections. You're going to see the people vote, you're going to see the counting, and you're even going to see the winners before the day ends. No one is going to count, no tally center, but it's all the system. So no cheating. What we have here is free and fair elections.
Now with us in the room are the agents of the different candidates. Now every candidate was given an opportunity to select their agent to be there with us in this room to make sure that their votes are seen and eligible.
Now, here on the screen, we have the general display of how the system is going to be. So, the election turnout is going to be shown here, where 3 of the 2,151 students of this mighty institution have voted. The eligible voters are all the students of the school. That's 2,151. Some people are complaining that because of the monopoly and favoritism of some candidates, because of the teachers and administration, they vote them. My dear friends, at Balikuddembe, we ensure free and fair elections, that only the students are eligible to vote, whereby thanks to cast your vote, we have what we call OTP. This is simply one-time what? Password. And only the students that are registered in the voters register are eligible to vote. So no monopoly, no favoritism, no monopoly, no favoritism, and no nepotism. So the 2,151 students of the school are eligible to vote. And so far, 3 votes have been cast. Now you're going to see everything. You're going to explain the system. And by the time the day ends, you'll be sure that Balikuddembe is not just training students in academics, culture, or dance, but you're bringing out a student that won't burden the government of Uganda to teach people how to vote, because this mighty institution does it down here. So bring on your kids. Now, briefly, we look at the pending voters. Since 3 have voted, we now have 2,148 remaining, and let us show you the candidates list of all the candidates we have. Never.
Now these are our candidates for 2026, 2027, starting up with the post of the academic prefect. Imran.
Now, candidates that we have are 85 in number. The 30 positions, and all the positions were taken with the school council, the judicial council, and then the general representatives of the what? Of the students. So starting off, we have the academics prefect. Now, you very well know that the reason we are here at school, other than the vibe, the memories, the aura, and all that, is academics. For that reason, a student must be chosen, a leader, a representative that will help to man and mend the gap between the academics of the school and the students. So, Never, it talks about our 2 candidates.
Now, starting with Akuzimbiwe Godwin Wilbert coming in from Form 3 against Shaka Gideon Aboy from Senior 5. Now we have Godwin versus Gideon coming in from O level and A level. Now, Imran, tell us, do you think the people will choose experience?
I was talking to one of the voters and they said some of them might go with Shaka Gideon because he's in Senior 5. People have the perception that the more experience you have in something, the better you are at manning the thing. So since Gideon is in Senior 5, they say he has the experience of all level, and thus he understands what it really means to be an academic prefect, or what it really means to handle academics. However, some people are saying that Godwin, the young man, has been struggling. The young man has shown that he's capable and he has shown his potential to man the academics department. But the question is, dear voter, dear agents, anyone watching me out there, will influence beat experience? Just wait and see. Moving on.
We have the assistant head boy posts.
Now, there's always that one boy, that one gentleman, that one tall guy that you always looked up to. Dear boys, dear fathers, dear uncles. You understand what I mean? When you were young, you looked at that boy who was always smart, always shining, and he made you admire to one day be responsible. That's our what? Our head boy. Balikuddembe is quite eccentric from some schools because we're not going to have the second candidate in the election to become the assistant head boy, but rather the people are also choosing who the assistant head boy should be. Now, before we look at the head boys, we wanted to give you who is going to help him when the head boy is sick, when the head boy is not away, or when the head boy can't reach some parts of the school. We have the assistant head boys. So we have two candidates, all coming from Senior 3. Now, tell us about the two candidates, please.
Now we have Kasasa, Ezra, David, Hamilton, and coming in against Nsubuga, Ben. Now, as you can all see, both these candidates are coming in from the same class, that is Senior 3. Now, just last weekend, I had an interview with Kasasa David, and the young man told me that he is coming in to walk the talk, and that really got me questioning myself. What would the young man mean by walk the talk? He told me that as a gentleman, he wants to be an open leader, one that the boys will come and feel free talking to. He told me that he just doesn't want to be the only gentleman in the school, but he wants to also have the other boys.
As a matter of fact, if you look at Kasasa Ezra David, dear viewer, I would like to tell you that this young man is a newcomer in this mighty institution. However, Nsubuga Ben has been here since Form 1, and people feel that Nsubuga knows the tradition and the roots of the school. They feel that because of Nsubuga's roots, he'll be able to handle, he'll be able to represent, and he'll be able to comfort our dear boys. But then some people, most especially the girls, are going with Kasasa because he spills the money and because he has the looks. So the question is, will looks beat tradition? Wait and see.
Now, Imran, do you think it's really a good strategy for these two to compete from the same class? Don't you feel like they're splitting their votes?
As a matter of fact, I would like to remind you, because Balikuddembe trains an all-round leader, you are encouraging our candidates that however much you're from the same class, we're not promoting enmity. This is politics, this is leadership. If you've not got the leadership, then after all, the Bible says leadership comes from God. So these two candidates, as a matter of fact, are not against each other. Any candidate that you see, whether they are from the same class, same stream, whatsoever, they are not against each other. In Balikuddembe, we don't encourage rivalry, but rather we encourage friendship and mutual leadership.
Now, as you said, Imran, the girls do prefer Kasasa because of the money and the looks. Considering the fact that the girls take up the biggest percentage in the school, do you believe that he may stand a chance?
This being a Catholic-founded school, I would end this by quoting, there are always miracles that happen to people that don't deserve them. Let's move on.
We have the assistant head girl post.
Now, you always had that one girl who was so pretty, like the boys would say it. She was always smart, not so tall, but optimum. Now, in Balikuddembe or in secondary life, that was the head girl. For this reason, I told you Balikuddembe is choosing assistants and the actual person. My dear viewer, wait when we reach the head girl. You will be shocked. Now, looking at the assistant head girl, this young lady, Nasuksa Esther Duffin, like I've quoted, that true leadership comes from God. Some people may say, God gave her the leadership already. Because as you can see, she's unopposed. So as she moves around with her fellow candidates, she's smiling and deep down she's saying, a champion, Chidina. Let's move on, please.
But originally on
because she is the oldest, she has had enough.
But Imran, most students believe that if these two actually did go against together, it would have been an electrifying performance.
Indeed, that would be pure politics.
Moving on.
Now, looking at the assistant liturgy, remember I told you Balikuddembe SS is a Catholic-founded school. One of our core values and one of the values that we embed into our tradition and roots of excellency is acknowledging what? Religion. So the liturgy department is one of the crucial departments in this mighty institution. Now, here's the funny catch. we have a Form 2. When you were in your Form 2, you remember, when you were in Form 1, they called you a baby, they called you a Bunsen banner, they called you a full stop, and they made you inferior. However, after 1 year of being in secondary, you started feeling supreme, and when the Form 1s came, you always made them feel inferior because you showed them that you knew the what? All the corners of the school. Now we have a Form 2. Some people even call them the leaders of the school because of their altitude and the way they act. Again, it's a baby, a Form 1, so innocent, so young. But the question is, will people vote young children because they're adorable, or will they vote the leaders of the school?
Now on the post, we have Nabosa Maria Elizabeth and Dagire Maria Promise, one coming from the Senior 2 and the other from Senior 1.
Now, I was talking to one of the voters and they said, because Form 2s still have years here, because Form 2s have a chance and they're older, they might, quote me, I'm not taking a side, they might vote the Form 1. Indeed, when you look at the young girl Bambi, she's very young, she's very innocent. Even during elections, some people say she wanted to cry. All this brought the hearts of the what? Of the voters. So don't be shocked, like I said in the beginning, miracles go to people that don't deserve them.
But again, Imran, some people believe that the oldest person can do us better, serve us better since they're older. And maybe they do have experience in the world more than the Form 1.
That's why Balikuddembe will prove to you that true leadership isn't age and experience, but rather the ability, the potential, and the influence.
Now, viewers, remember Balikuddembe Decides 2026, 2027. All this is brought to you by courtesy of Cast Your Vote. Now, if you have an event similar to this, they are the right people for you.
Now, you remember that one time in secondary when you were caught in a crime, whether guilty or innocent, they always took you to the students' DC before you would move on to the general DC of the administrators. Now, some of us used to pray that in the students' DC, the chief judge looks at us with eyes of mercy. The person that will bail you out, the person that will take you for persecution, and the person that you'll be pleading to will be the what? The chief judge. So in Balikuddembe, right now we are having two candidates and two members of the same class moving up against each other. Remember, I told you that if there are two candidates, Balikuddembe doesn't encourage rivalry, but rather Balikuddembe encourages mutual relationships and friendship. So we have Chirunda Ali and Moya Mark. As a matter of fact, I would like to inform you, Chirunda Ali coming in this big post in the former cabinet while in his O level was a member of the cabinet from Senior 1 to Senior 4. What does this imply? Some people think, some people propose, some people support that Ali should be the chief judge because of his political experience and because he has the hearts of many. I even had a quota voting that Ali amanyebizibu byaffe. In other words, Ali knows our problems. Unlike our dear friend Moya Mark, this doesn't differ from him because Moya Mark is also an old student. However, he's new to the what? To the leadership. Nisha,
yes.
I'll ask you a question. Do you think that Ali would win because of his political experience, or should they also give a chance to this newbie, this Bunsen banner in leadership, to also show us what he has?
Imran, I think I cannot criticize at this point, but again, Balikuddembe Decides 2026, 2027, moving on.
So you're looking at the compound and furniture. If you're looking at our website, if you come to the school itself, you've observed that Balikuddembe has a lot of furniture. If you looked at our classes, Balikuddembe has a very clean compound, and even the students themselves, as you're seeing, the agents are very clean, squeak and span. Now, the reason for all that is the ability, the capability, the potential, and the hard work of the what? The compound and furniture prefect. So this is a very heavy job, a very heavy burden that cannot be handled by any other person, that cannot be handled by a person that's weak. Because as a compound prefect, one, you won't sit and settle in class before the what? The compound is clean. You won't settle if children have lagging, crying, or breaking furniture. And you won't settle if I'm not comfortable in my seat. So tell us about our candidates, Neva.
Now we have one from Senior 1, Senior 3, Senior 2, and again, Senior 1 now, Birungi Martha Britain coming in from Senior 1. Now these people have just joined the school just last time, but a young girl coming in with the bravery to face off these people that have been here for 3 or even 2 years. And now we have Kavega Wycliffe coming in. Yes.
There's something that has captured my attention. If you've been observing, dear viewer, we have only one man against 3 women. Will Kavega go with the perspective of ladies first and leave the ladies to win? Or will he also want the lion's share of leadership? Let us ask you a question.
Yes.
I heard something about Kabega's leadership journey. Tell us.
The funniest thing about Kawega Wycliffe is that this young man has been contesting on the same post for the last 3 years now. Does Wycliffe actually believe that he will take the post this year? Now, very many students have been saying since it's his last year to stand, they may actually give it to him and leave the others to take up the other years.
Someone asked me a question. I told them the guy has been campaigning for 3 years. You didn't vote him then, you didn't vote him then, and I don't know if you'll vote him now. And they also asked me this: will he do what he wouldn't do then?
But actually, Wycliffe has been a very active member in the leadership sector of the school. Even when he wasn't a leader, we've been seeing him going there, here, organizing the furniture, making sure our school is clean, implying that the young man does really want this post now. Balikuddembe decides 2026.
I even had someone quote the leader that Wycliffe is better off as a volunteer rather than a leader. But please, if he's a good volunteer, he can be a good leader. Let's move on.
Okay, we have Naluwama Shanita Sentongo coming in from Senior 2 against Nalukwago Shelly, our very own. Now, during the open air campaign, Shelly promised the students a pre-C5.
Now, it was quite interesting how a compound and furniture prefect would come in and promise children a PS5 in order to increase their leisure time. And as I was seated next to one of the administrators, the administrator said, you have to handle furniture, not leisure. Now, this young lady caught the attention of very many people because actually, if you look at the young lady, indeed, she looks young, she looks innocent. The question is, does she have the potential? Balikuddembe decides 2026-2027. Next post, please.
Moving on, we have the entertainment prefect for the boys.
Now, dear viewer, when you're seated down there, you're talking to your children, you're talking to your friends, you're talking to your brother, your sister, you always tell them about the memories you had in high school. These memories might have been of a good song, a certain dance, a certain donkey, a certain party, a certain color face that will forever make you remember secondary. Now, one of the things that helps us make memories in secondary is the entertainment sector. So the entertainment sector in a school like Balikuddembe that encourages co-curricular is actually a very, very, very crucial a very crucial post. So the children want to vote someone that will help them have memories that they'll forever cherish. Now, it's quite interesting, really. In Balikuddembe, we normally have a session every Saturday after preps at around 9 there. They call it Newslink. Here, a certain group of people from the Newslink Club organize information for us. They organize clips, movie, trailers, and all that to give us entertainment, to entertain us. Now, this is the eccentric part. Both the candidates here are from that department. The question is, one candidate pours more money and has more influence. Some girls even say he has the looks. That's Malcolm. Okay. And one candidate has more of the influence and touches people's hearts. So never. Yes. Do you think people are going to vote the money and the looks? Or are they going to vote the influence and the hearts?
Well, we all know money beats all. So, what else is there to say?
But then the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evilness. Let's continue.
Okay, moving on to the entertainment prefect girls. Now, this is one of the most posts that's being given attention in the school. We have Kanyike, Ashura, and Nachiemba Karo coming in from Form 3 and the other coming in from Senior 5.
Now, I would like to tell you that Kanyike Ashura, Form 5, appeared on the scene last time, and she showed everybody that she had the ability. She would shake during the masses, she would dance during the retreats, and she had that voice that people even called charming. However, Nachiemba Karo, coming in from Senior 3, came and gave us the rap. She gave us the bass, and she showed us that if we voted her, indeed she would give us the entertainment. Now, the thing is, Ashura has the support, Ashura has the hearts, Nachiemba Karo has the sample of what people want. So the question is, are people voting what they have seen, or are they voting the person that has stolen their hearts? Balikuddembe decides 2026.
Now, Imran, on our last open air campaign, we saw Nachiemba Karo coming in with an electrifying entrance during her open air campaign. Now, this really got the hearts and the attention of the people, wondering, will the same energy that was given to Karo be the same that will be put on the ballot?
Yeah, and that's the thing about politics. You never know what the future holds, and that's why we encourage each of the candidates in Balikuddembe to stay mutual friends. That even after the election, we quote the song of a certain politician. That even after all this goes on, let us not become enemies, because people might electrify you there. People might give you the people raise. Some people were even carried. People that were there, you remember, you can go down to our website and see it on. Some people were even carried during this election. But the question is, will your elections and will your votes also be carried as they read you as the winner or not? I want to remind you that the thing about politics, some people must lose and some people must win. That's the balance. Moving on, we have the head boy. Now, I told you in the beginning that, dear viewer, dear father, dear uncle, as you sit down to tell your son, your daughter about what you were in school, though some of you are lying, there was always that one boy that always inspired you. That one boy that was always so smart, so tall, and then they always called him the head boy. Not because he has a big head, no, but because he has the ability to lead you, because he has the potential and the capability. So this is one of the tightest competitions that we're having here. We have Chirabia Matthias, who is a newcomer, but is getting the hearts of the ladies because of his deep, charming voice. And then we also have Galombe Gavin Johnson, who is the leader of the worship team on Sunday, who is the leader of the worship team. He was a leader in the former cabinet as a class captain, and he has been influential. Some staff members even say, Galombe. However, the advantage is the staff members are not voting. Now
Imran, Galombe has gained fame from the whole student fraternity, basing on his electrifying performances he gives us during the praise and worship. Do you think this is going to help him in any kind of way?
I had someone quote and say that Galombe would have gone for liturgy, not coming as the head boy, because his talent is in liturgy, not head boying. However, let's wait for the poll to do what? To decide. Now, dear viewer, as you were coming down to see this, you saw that logo, that label that had Balikuddembe Decide 2026-2027. It had the pictures of these two charming, beautiful young women. And you ask yourself, who are they? Who are those? And why are they there? I want to tell you that all around, in this politics and in this election that we're having this time, the same way we had Museveni against Kyagulanyi, where the competition was tight. In Balikuddembe, the tightest post is the post of the head girl. And the reason is quite simple. As you see the young lady Murungi Josephine, some people say her parents named her Murungi for a reason. Indeed. However, we also want to tell you that Cindy Rachel Precious also has the looks, but this is it. Cindy Rachel, with a charming young voice, won the hearts of many. She took very many people's attention, and all the boys were like, yeah, Cindy. But then a certain section of the boys, as we saw on the general campaigns, came out saying, no. Murungi Josephine has ever danced for us. Murungi Josephine has the talent. Murungi Josephine can shake. They even gave her that nickname, Beba, because of how good she can dance. Now the question is, will talent beat influence? This is the tightest competition. Dear viewer, I would even like to tell you, as we speak now, these two are not having lunch. These two are not even understanding what they are teaching in class, because they know that even if I have 90% of the people loving me, those same people also love my what? My opponent. So as we are moving on with the day, you're going to be giving you highlights, because this is the tightest competition. This is a true example of pure politics in secondary school.
Now, Imran, Murungi gained her name Beba on the Rise Up concert that we had that closed up the term. That was our first term this year. It closed it up, and she gained fame from the students. Do you think that this will help her in any way?
The thing about politics and the thing about secondary leadership is influence and fame. However, like the Bible has it, that there's a reason why God hid the hearts of men. People will show you that they want you on top because you've danced Beba, but deep down they'll be saying Cindy has the what? The ability. So let the poll decide and let the election decide. But whatever goes on, I would like to inform you, these two are very, very close friends. Now, we have the head prefect. As you're having all this, the academics, the entertainment, the head prefect, the head girl, whatsoever, they have a leader. They have that one person that must lead them. If you look at football teams, these football teams always have a leader. It's that leader who encourages them. I'm not a fan of football, but I must quote this. Last year during the AFCON, was it last time? During the AFCON competitions, I watched a certain match. And after Senegal had won the AFCON, the person that they gave the #1 medal was who? Was Sadio Mane, who they said was the captain of the team. What does this imply? That if there's a fool in the cabinet, if there's a leader who's doing contrary to the school regulations, if there's a leader that's corrupt, people might not look at that leader. They will look at the head prefect, and they say that what is he really doing? If you look at the head prefect we've had before, Mr. Mwanguzi, he's been strong, he has used an iron fist, and for that reason the upcoming cabinet has been really eccentric and has been really hardworking. The question is, will Baluka Melissa Elizabeth beat Senkumba Simon Peter? There are very few head prefects in Balikuddembe that have been women, and even those that have been women have been iron fists. So the question is, will Baluka be an iron fist or just a slap?
Now, don't you forget that all this is courtesy of Cast Your Vote. If you have any event similar to this, they are the right people for you. Imran, moving on.
Now we're going to look at the health prefects of the boys. Now, the health prefect post, we are having two eligible candidates. We have Ebong Daniel Harmony and Chagulanyi Cyprus. Now, this is even tighter. A Form 5 going up against a Form 1. Now, the thing is, some people are quoting that Ebong is missing 4 years of what? Experience. Yes. But Chagulanyi, having Bobby Wine's name, has the ability to lead. And some people reminded them that having the same name doesn't mean that you have the same brains. But if you look at the influence and the electricity that the supporters put in Chagulanyi on the open air campaigns, my dear friend, I think the fate is already what? Decided. But tell me, Never,
yes,
do you think this young man, tall as he is, handsome as he is, can come up against a Form 5?
And that is Daniel. Now, just last weekend, I was having an interview with Daniel, and he was assuring me how confident and brave he is to come against Crispus in Form 5. He said he is not afraid of anything, and he is strong, brave, and able enough to go against Crispus.
So now I've been just informed right now that Babi Gumira Addison Dillon is now also eligible candidate for the health prefect post. Now this makes it even more balancing. It makes it even more spicing. So since the boys, one was even quoting, these two are going to have a fight, but why will they leave the Form 1? Now that's the best part. If the Form 1 can't take it, let's give to the babies. We'll see what the people decide.
Balikuddembe decides 2026, 2027.
Now moving on to the health prefect for the girls. I remember Nachiwala Melissa Gabriela, during the open air campaigns, made a certain quote. She said that, dear girls, when they go to their lavatory section, they have very few toilets, and that girls shouldn't hold their bladders for a long time. This young lady exhibited a high level of biology that even some candidates didn't bring on. But as we were still being shocked by those featuring words, Nazwa Patricia even came in with actions. After all, actions speak louder than words. She came in with a performance of a young boy who had a bruise, and she came in as the doctor. I think that's why she even decided to have her coat on as she was getting this picture. Now, dear friends, you know that girl gender is quite delicate, and that the girl gender makes the biggest part of any school in Uganda. It's been proven by facts. So our dear girls have to be handled with care, because their health is very delicate and their health is very what? Crucial. So tell us something brief about each of these candidates.
Now, Imran, Nachiemba Rahma was campaigning, that is her silent campaigns. We had people quoting that she's going against she's going for the post of health prefect. Girls, now, people were quoting that she does look healthy herself.
She even quoted it and she said, I myself look healthy. So the question is, are people voting healthy looks or healthy actions?
That is actually an interesting one. Now, during our open air campaigns, these candidates either confused us or
convinced us. Moving on, we have the in charge clubs and societies. Now,